Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is for trading on August the 7th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. Okay, so in terms of the news, we had RBA rate statement this morning. Nothing much has changed. They're holding things the same. Coming up here, we have Reserve Bank of New Zealand, and they are expected to cut rate here. So in this case, if they cut rate, we should see a New Zealand dollar drop, although some of that has already been, we have had the moves based on that expectation. However, if they do not cut rates for some reason, we could see a move in the opposite direction. So we could see New Zealand dollar go up. At this point, though, market is expecting an interest rate cut. And in that case, we should see a drop. Now, another thing that we have to pay attention to, though, will be the future guidance. So if a Reserve Bank of New Zealand is concerned about future growth prospects, US-China trade relationships, all of that is basically negative or dovish for New Zealand, and we could see New Zealand dollar drop. So that's what we have. And on Wednesday here, not a ton of important data. We do have FOMC member Evans speaking. So with the FOMC, the interesting development here is because of the US and China trades falling apart, our market is expecting Fed to actually cut rates. Some people are even saying that we could get a 50 basis point cut in September. So essentially that's negative for the US dollar. And today we saw FOMC members speak, and they were basically talking about here. We had Fed Bullard who was speaking, and essentially he's looking for an interest rate cut this year, but a lot of the FOMC members or the market is expecting that. So a lot of the FOMC members that are coming up for their speeches, if they start saying or talking about interest rates cut, then we are likely to see the US dollar drop. And that is it. We do have trade balance numbers here in China and current balance for Japan. Those numbers could have an impact. Overall, though, there isn't anything that is high important news at this point. All right, so let's go on to our charts now. We'll start off with euro dollar. So over the last few days, here, market has been very, very volatile. And we have seen moves in a lot of different directions here, up and down. So in this case, today for euro dollar, we have an indecision candle. We have pins on both sides and a small candle body that shows that nobody's really in charge in terms of buyers or sellers, and market could move in either direction. So right now, bias is neutral. There are couple of levels that I would watch here. One would be 1.12, I would say 20. So slightly higher here for a potential pullback. And then next level will be 1.1250. So we could actually see price go up. So I would look for a retest either here or a higher retest into the high of today. And if it doesn't go through, I would look for euro dollar to drop. Now, should it go through the 1250 level, I'm looking for price to go all the way into 1.1300, at which at that point it will become bullish, and we're looking for a move all the way into 1300. But for now, though, with this indecision candle, a lot of times we see price or the market switch directions. Same thing here, price was dropping. It just kind of got stuck here, and then this was a continuation one. So we could see price either continue or we could see it drop. So we just have to be careful. For now, neutral bias. If it stays below the 1220 or 1250 level, in that case, I will look for price to come down into a 1.1160 level here. that would be our target to the downside then. So neutral bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one has a bullishness in it. So this one's starting to look kind of rounded here. We have had a big drop in the pound, and most of it has been due to Brexit concerns here. So right now it's still trading in that range. It tried to break through, wasn't successful, came back in. So in a way, it's still range bound, but it's starting to look more rounded now. So if we see price go through again here, it could continue on all the way into our R3 1.1260 level here. So at this point, I would look for a break to the upside, but only if it breaks to the upside are we looking for a move to the upside like this. That's what I would look for. However, if it doesn't break the high of today, we could see it come back into the range. So this one is slightly more bullish here than we have euro dollar. Aussie here, Aussie is, let's see what we have. Aussie shows rejection here. So we have a nice pin bar here. Price went all the way into the high from yesterday and got rejected. So now we have a pin, but we haven't seen a break of the bottom here. So that suggests that price could go and retest this level. Once again, if it stays below, I will look for a drop first back into 0.6750, and after that 0.6700. So for now, bias is bearish, but first I will look for a pullback into 0.6800 for a potential short there. New Zealand dollar, this one has a large pin here as well, which shows a rejection of the high. So we could see a drop here. Now with this one, keep in mind, we are into support. Price hasn't been able to break the support yet. However, it has been pushing into it. So bias is bearish here. Next target is 0.6430. However, if price goes through this level here, through the high of today, it could continue higher. Now, we do have a Reserve Bank of New Zealand statement. If they don't cut the rate, we're likely to see New Zealand dollar go up. But if they do cut the rate, then we're likely to see it drop. In that case, we could see it go through the support level. So for now, though, bias is bearish. Target is 0.6430. Now the caution, the word of caution is if it doesn't go through 0.6480, then it could move higher here. So keep that in mind. Dollar CAD here, this one is looking bullish. It was stuck in this range for a few days here, but finally price has broken out. So bias here is bullish. Next target is 1.3320. So bullish bias for dollar CAD here. Silver. Silver is neutral. It's still trading in that range. It is holding above this level for now, which suggests that it can go higher. So watch out for that. First target is 16.64. And at that point, we have to be careful because we could get one of these moves. But if it breaches that level, then we are looking at 1690. But until such time, bias is neutral, and I will look for a retest of the 16.64 and then potential drop if it doesn't break through. Gold is looking bullish here. We have a bullish pin bar here. So bias is bullish. 1485 is the first target here. Now, with this one here, it broke out, it pulled back, didn't quite make it all the way down, just a little shy of the previous high here. So it's holding above the previous level, which gives it that bullishness or bullish bias here. So 1485 will be the first target. And then we are into some levels that we haven't been at in quite some time. Oops. And so here we are. 1495, so almost 1500 here. Okay, so 1485 is the first target, and then 1500 will be the second target for gold. Oil is dropping still, so we have a nice bearish candle close here. So bearish bias. Look out for a pullback potentially into 54.15, and then a further drop. So looking for it to come back into this level here. So 51.80 is the target here for oil. And the next one here, copper. Copper is looking bullish, so we could get a move higher here, and 2.55 will be the target. Now, the concern would be though, because we are into resistance, if it doesn't go past 2.53, then we could, if it doesn't go through here, it could go sideways. So watch out for that. But for now, bias is bullish. 2.55 is the target for copper. Bitcoin here, this one is looking a bearish here. We did see that move higher into 12,200, but now we are into that resistance. So we have a pin there. So we saw a drop. Now we could get a move back down into 10,800. So that's what I would watch out for here. So bias is slightly to the downside, but overall is still kind of going sideways here, slowly making that move lower. But overall, it's holding above this level here. But for now, I will look for a drop into 10,800. S&P 500, this one actually moved higher today. After 5 days of drops here, we saw this move to the upside in S&P 500. So now we are into resistance, but we have a bullish candle close here, which means we could see price pull back higher, so into 2,900. So I would say bias is bullish here. The caution here would be if it stays below 2875, then this one could drop. So if we go into this 1 hour chart, this is where we are. We had a nice drop, price pulled back. So if it stays below the high here, today's high, as long as it stays below, it could drop back down. However, if it breaches this level, then it could go all the way back into this 2960, but first target would be 2900, then potentially 2960. The important part is what happens into today's high. If you get a push into it, if it stays below, then I'm looking for a drop. If it goes through, then I'm looking, I would be bullish here, and I will look for a further move higher. Nasdaq here, same thing. It pulled back here. So looking at the 1 hour chart, we saw a rapid drop and then a slow and steady pullback, and now we are back into that level there. So if it stays below 75.30 level, then we could see a drop back down here into the bottom here to retest this level. However, if it if it goes through and doesn't drop, then we are looking at 7,700 as a first target, and then all the way into 7,800. So this one could go higher at that point. But for now, we have to watch how it reacts at the 75.30 level for it to get the direction. But we have bullishness here, so it could continue further here. DAX here, DAX is not looking that strong. It is holding above the support level. So if it holds above and stays above this 11,600 level, it could go back up again. We've had several days of drop here as well. So we could get that move higher. For now, I would say bias is still bearish, but again, caution here. If it holds above, I'm looking for it to go higher. And in that case, the target would be 11,900 here. And if it drops through this 11,600, then I am aiming for 11,275 here. FTSE here, FTSE didn't really do much. It's just sideways today, so neutral bias for FTSE. Overall, though, we are bearish, but this one could go higher as well. If all the other equity markets go up, this one could go to test the high at 73.30 level. So watch out for that. So this type of move here, we could get that move. So watch out for that move, but it's neutral, which means it can go in either direction. It could drop or go higher. Last one here, we have Nikkei. Nikkei came right into the support and then bounced up from there. So we do have a bullish candle close here. So which means that this one could go higher into 20,950 here, or almost 21,000. So we'll have to see what happens. So right now it's dropping, and if it holds above this 20,300 level, we could see that move higher. Or right now, if it holds below today's high, it could continue lower, but there is room for a deeper pullback, so do watch out for that. All right, so that's all I have. So we'll wrap it up here. Have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.